So I was reading about XYZ Corp, right? They're paying like $300 million in a securities fraud settlement. And get this, they didn't admit they did anything wrong. Like, they just casually dropped 300 million bucks and said, nope, not our fault. That's the corporate version of, I'm sorry you feel that way. So I got something super interesting for you today, and kind of wild too. It's about why, like, almost every single class action lawsuit, especially the big securities ones, settles before going anywhere near a courtroom.
Oh yeah, this is a classic one. The courtroom isn't where the drama happens. It's behind closed doors, in conference rooms with mediators and legal pads.
Right. So, hey everyone, welcome to Sue Wall Street, holding Wall Street accountable. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Bill. And before we go any further, we gotta say it up front. We're not lawyers or accountants, so don't take this as legal or financial advice. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only.
Exactly. And today's podcast is presented by Levi and Korsinsky, a leading American securities class action lawsuit firm, 20 years of giving shareholders a voice and recovering billions of dollars. Go check out their website at zlk.com for more information.
Also, just so you know, the stock we're loosely talking about in that intro example, XYZ Corp, is fictional. But this type of thing happens all the time with real companies traded on major exchanges like the NYSE and the NASDAQ.
All right, Bill. So, why do these massive class actions never actually make it to trial? Is it just because, no one wants the bad press?
Well, that's part of it. But the real kicker, trials are just brutally expensive, incredibly slow, and super risky. Like, you could spend, 5 years and tens of millions of dollars on a case only to have a jury go, not convinced.
So settling is like buying your way out of the mess.
Pretty much. It's the legal version of, let's just split the bill and never talk about this again. For the company, it's all about control. They don't have to roll the dice on a jury, they don't risk exposing executives under oath, and they close the books. Boom, done.
And the plaintiffs, like the investors suing, what's in it for them?
Oh, they get real money. Maybe not the full amount they lost, but something. And faster. Going to trial could take years, and even if they win, appeals could drag it out even longer. So settling means they get some compensation now. It's not perfect justice, but it's predictable.
Okay, but who actually does the deal? Who's in the room when this all gets hashed out?
Now, you've got three key players. First, the plaintiff's lawyers. These are the ones representing all the shareholders in the class. Then the defense attorneys. Those are repping the company and maybe the execs. And in the middle, a mediator. Think legal therapist meets financial referee.
Okay, so they all sit down and just argue about how much money to hand over?
Basically, yeah, they negotiate. They talk damages, trial risk, what a jury might do, whether there's insurance coverage, all of it. And eventually, if it doesn't fall apart, they land on a number.
And that number goes where?
Once they agree, they write up a formal settlement agreement. Then they send it to the court. The judge has to give preliminary approval. Then they notify shareholders. Eventually, there's a final hearing, and if the judge gives it the green light, it's claim time.
So it's not just here's a check. There's a whole legal parade before anyone gets paid.
Totally. And one big thing, these settlements almost never include an admission of guilt. The company's like, we deny everything, but we're paying anyway. It's the legal equivalent of, we're not mad, just disappointed.
Okay, so let me get this straight. They pay hundreds of millions of dollars, but still say, we didn't do anything wrong?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like a classic corporate damage control. No admission of guilt means they can avoid setting a precedent or inviting more lawsuits down the road, and they get to control the narrative in the press. We're settling to avoid the costs of prolonged litigation, that kind of thing.
So it's kind of like they're buying silence.
That's one way to look at it. I mean, there's definitely some hush money vibes here, but it's also strategic. Legally, financially, reputationally, these companies want to keep their execs off the witness stand, they want to keep their stock prices steady, and they want to put a lid on the whole thing fast.
Okay, but does this actually help investors? Or is it just the company throwing money at the problem so they don't have to deal with it?
Honestly, it's a bit of both. On one hand, yeah, it stings the company, especially if it's a big number. It sends a message. But for investors, this is usually the only real path to getting some money back. Like, you might never get your full losses, but you might get a few hundred or a few $1,000, depending on how much you held.
And how do people even know if they're part of one of these lawsuits?
Good question. So once the settlement is preliminarily approved, the court orders that notice be sent out, either by email or snail mail, to all potential class members. Usually, if you bought the stock during a certain time window, you're eligible. The notice explains how to file a claim.
Okay, but people ignore those, right?
All the time. Which is wild because filing a claim is usually super easy. And if you don't file, you don't get a dime. You're literally walking away from money you're owed.
So, like, open those envelopes, people.
Right? Don't sleep on it. If your brokerage sent you a securities class action settlement email, don't just archive it. That's your money. Even if it's small, you're entitled to it. And if enough shareholders actually participate, it sends a stronger message to these companies.
All right, this makes a lot more sense now. So to wrap it up, it's not really about guilt or innocence. It's about certainty.
Bingo. Trials are risky. Settlements are predictable. Companies want to keep their hands clean, and shareholders want compensation without years of delay. It's the courtroom version of don't rock the boat, just write the check.
Wow. So justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it just cuts a deal.
Exactly. And hey, before we head out, we are not attorneys, and the information provided does not constitute legal or financial advice. The information in this podcast is provided for general information purposes only. There is no guarantee that the information discussed is fully accurate or up to date. Listeners and subscribers should not act or refrain from acting upon any of the information contained herein without seeking professional counsel.
Thanks for hanging with us on Sue Wall Street, holding Wall Street accountable.
Yeah, settlements might not come with dramatic courtroom speeches, but there's still a way for shareholders to get some justice, or at least a little green.
Next time we're breaking down exactly how to file a claim if you've gotten one of those notices in your inbox. It's easier than you think. And hey, could be worth a couple $100.
Or more. So yeah, check those inboxes and we'll see you then.